Hello and welcome to the tutorial for this awesome variation of the Odessa corset top. This is a new kit that came out featuring a gorgeous lavender orchid petal, light purple, whatever you want to call it, in gold embroidered tulle lace. This deviates from the original Odessa. I'll give you an example right here. This is the original Odessa that has a hook and eye closure in the front. It has channeling, boning channeling, or underwire channeling for the boning. And also it does not have a hook and eye. Now this variation of the Odessa does not have a hook and eye closure in the front. The boning channeling is made out of the fold over elastic, the same fold over elastic that is used to finish the edges of the corset, and a hook and eye closure in the back. First, let's go into why would you do these variations. One is that the front closure, let's just say that you don't have a front closure that matches the whole vibe that you're going for. We had white fold over elastic, so the white hook and eye tape really goes, but let's just say you have like a crazy pink and you have some hot pink fold over elastic and you don't have a hook and eye tape, and you're like, oh man, what do we do? You can eliminate it if you want. That is a possibility. Same thing goes for the channeling. So we did this variation using the fold over elastic as the underwire channeling, boning channeling, whatever you want to call it, because we didn't have underwire channeling that was matched the same color as our fold over elastic. So we used just FOE, which is short for fold over elastic. For the hook and eye closure in the back, some people, if this is just like too many things to hook on when you're putting on the top, or if this is non-functional, this is functional, but if you have one that is non-functional and you don't want to pull this over your head, let's just say you have a big bust, you have mobility issues, and you want a hook and eye closure in the back, then you would change it out. So super easy variations, but I know that pattern making gives some people the heebie-jeebies, so I will walk you through every step. First, let's go over pattern changes. So there are just two pattern changes. One is optional. So the center front piece, since you are eliminating the center front closure, you will want to add 1/4 of an inch to the center front. That's it. For the center back piece, it is cut on the fold, but you want to not cut it on the fold and cut it straight down. I also added a little bit to the center back just because I felt like it, to make it a little bit easier to wear, as far as there's a little bit more ease in the garment. And also you want to make sure that whatever hook and eye closure you're going to use is going to fit into it. So obviously you can see that this hook and eye closure is a lot shorter than the hook and eye, or this hook and eye closure is a lot shorter than the center back piece. So I will cut it down so that it will fit into the hook and eye closure. Okay, so those are the pattern alterations. Let's get into the sewing changes. The only one is that you are going to, step one is you're going to sew the center front seam with a straight stitch, wrong sides together if you're going to have the fold over elastic as the channeling. You could do it right sides together so the channeling is on the inside like the original Odessa, but what Whether you sew it right sides together or wrong sides together will be dependent on whether you want the boning channeling to be exposed or not exposed. Since the variation had it exposed, I'm actually going to sew it with wrong sides together. Straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam allowance, back stitch at beginning and the end. Okay, so I sewed the center front seam. Now I'm going to trim the seam allowances to about 1/8 of an inch, because you want to lay this down and the seam allowances will be concealed underneath. Right now, if I laid that down, you would be able to see the seam allowances poking out or peeking through. So I'm going to trim those to about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, now that they are trimmed, I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew this down. And I'm going to stitch a straight stitch on either side, on either side of the fold over elastic, as close to the edge as possible. You want to get super, super, super close to the edge, because if not, you won't be able to insert this into the boning channeling that you're going to create. Now at the bottom here, I folded the lace back because I actually want the lace to overlap the boning channeling. Over elastic is sewn and it's acting as boning channeling. You are going to insert the boning. Moment of truth, and it's going to tell you whether you sewed your stitches wide enough or close enough to the edge so that you can insert the plastic boning. Ta-da! And now it's in. You will want to trim the boning so that it is about 1/4 of an inch above the top or the bottom and top edge, to allow you to sew the fold over elastic at the top and bottom edge. So usually what I do is I insert the whole way and then pull it out like 1/2 of an inch and then push it back in. The key thing is that the boning goes in between the fold over elastic and the fabric. It doesn't go inside the fold over elastic.